I just have a couple things to say, and Miss Lindsay might have a few things to say too, just kind of a couple of announcements, and then I'll open it up to any and all questions. We're hoping to show you a short video as well, if we can get that working. So just a couple things to start. The first thing is just a couple quick announcements. So the first thing is has to do with our lease, which you might have heard something about. So we just recently won our court case against our landlord, so we're now free.
We're free.
And so we've actually begun the process of looking for a new building, and we're very hopeful and optimistic that we can find a building that suits our needs and our interests better than this one. And we're currently in discussions with the existing landlord to kind of figure out the process of transitioning out of this building and into another building. Likely will take a period of time. We don't quite know all the details yet. We don't quite know all the specifics of it, but we're really optimistic that a few years hence we'll be in a bigger, much better building that suits our needs and interests much more than this one. A building with more space, a building, thank you, Mr. Bauer. A building with more space, a building with lots of room for science labs, art rooms, music, a gymnasium that is ours, fields that are ours. So we're really hopeful for that.
You better write Bill Gates or something.
Yeah. Yes.
When you're saying you're free because you won the lawsuit, does it mean you're not bound, the school is not bound by the rental agreement anymore?
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
That's correct. So the second update is next week we have what we call, for the first time in AMSA history, thanks completely to
I'm leaving.
Ms. Bandar is one of our great computer science teachers, and she's on a group of teachers called the Scheduling Avengers. And they were the ones, Ms. Bandaro, Mr. Alvarez in the computer science department, and Ms. Benson in the guidance department. They're the ones who created the schedule for next year, which is complete. It was completed. It was completed in late May, and we've already provided the schedules to the teachers, so the teachers already have their schedules for next year, which is absolutely fantastic. The students will have their schedule, and next week, for the first time in AMSA history, we will have what we call a step-up day, move-up day.
Move-up
I always
day.
confuse the terms. Yeah. A move-up day, so that your kids will actually go through the process of being in their schedules for next year. Never done this before, so this would be really great, kind of introduce them to next year's classes, the curriculum next year, meet some of their teachers. Not necessarily, it's not 100% guaranteed that it'll be the same teacher, but most likely it will be. So they'll get to meet their teacher, they'll get to be introduced to the curriculum, kind of run through that schedule so that they're acclimated and really excited for next year. I know a lot of kids are thinking, they're not really thinking about school in the fall. What are we going to do this summer? Do I really have to go to school on the last day? And so forth and so on. So we're really happy about that. The third thing I wanted to just talk a little bit about is our goals for next year. So Miss Lindsay and I were really focused on three big goals for this year when we took over the positions in February. The three goals were the schedule, which Ms. Pandaru accomplished with the Scheduling Avengers, changing professional development here at AMSA, which we did by really providing teachers a lot more freedom and autonomy along with department chairs in choosing the PD that they have, and really emphasizing that we love our teachers, we want to retain our teachers, we want our teachers to grow at AMSA and retain them. Those have been our core three goals. So for next year, those goals are really important. But in addition to those goals, we have some other really important goals. And I like three, so I always talk about groups of threes. So kind of clearly define what goals are. So one really important goal has to do with spirit. And Ms. Lindsay and I really are very much committed to boosting morale and spirit at our school for everybody, for teachers, for parents, for students, for alumni, to really get a sense of spirit and camaraderie and team unity at AMSA, higher than it's ever been. And we think that we can absolutely do that. And we think that it's so important. If you don't have the morale, and if you don't have that spirit, it's really hard to do much of anything else. You can talk till you're blue in the face about this policy and that policy, and we need this and we need that. But unless people believe in the mission, unless people have faith and spirit, and people are really excited, unless kids are excited to come to school every day, unless parents are excited about the school they send their kids to, unless teachers are excited about the place where they work, it's hard to accomplish anything else. So we're really going to focus a lot on that. So another important goal is going to be around the topic of excellence, academic excellence. Next year we are creating a new PD program, a new mentoring program, and we'll have a new evaluation system. So all of these tools are really essential to helping us retain our teachers and grow our teachers. And in turn, our teachers are the ones who have such a large academic impact upon our students. So we're hopeful and optimistic that we can create a fantastic evaluation system, a fantastic mentoring program, and a fantastic PD program that will help retain our teachers, help our teachers grow, and help our students succeed academically. So that's the second goal. Third big goal has to do with, I'm a geeky historian, so I always think of historical terms. And the term that I use for this third goal is called a shining light. I'm going to embarrass myself here. So in 1630s, one of the original Puritan founders of Massachusetts, when he sailed over to America from England, said, "We want Boston to be a city upon a hill, a shining light for the rest of the world." So we want AMSA to be a shining light for the Commonwealth. We want AMSA to be a shining light for the entire Commonwealth. To do that, we have to do the first two goals, right? We have to have spirit, we have to have morale, we have to be academically excellent. And we want the state to see that. We want the Department of Education to see that. We want to accomplish all of the goals that the state would have for us. So the state can look at us and say, geez, AMSA, you are doing an absolutely fantastic job. So we want to succeed academically. We want to build a great special education program. We want to build a great ELL program. We want our highest achievers to achieve, and we want the students to struggle to be supported. So if we can do all those three things next year, we can really move mountains. So I'm really optimistic about that. I said four things. So that was three things. So the last thing, and then I'll be quiet. Oh, the video's up. Awesome. So at the last Ed Coffee, I don't know if you were there, but the last Ed Coffee, which was in the evening, there were lots of questions that came up. And Miss Lindsay and I are very, very dedicated. When you have a question, we're going to get you an answer. And hopefully in a way that's sustainable so that you can always find out where the answers are. So what we've decided to do with the great Mr. Finkel, our wonderful communications director, when we get really common questions, we decided to create a new video series called the How-To Video Series. So one of the questions that came up at the last Ed Coffee was, how do I access my kids' grades? Very common question, and it's come out a lot. And so we thought, there's no need to keep answering that question. If we can answer the question with a video, put it up on the website so that and easily accessible, so that all you would have to do is go to the website, go to the parent section, click on the parent section, you'll see a scroll down screen or scroll down section, and it'll say how to. So the first video we thought we would make is how to access your students' grades on PLUS Portals. We thought we'd do it in a very friendly way. We'll have a teacher say, hey everybody, and then you can click the video and you will see how to access your kids' grades on PLUS Portals. And we could do this with so many questions. You know, what's another topic that came up was a question of, at the last head coffee, was a question of backpacks. What's the backpack policy in grade 6 through 7? What's the new cell phone policy? So we can, Mr. Finkel can create like 4,000 videos. Easily accessible on the webpage where you can just go, geez, I have a question about this policy, I have a question about that policy. Check the how-to videos, it'll be right there. So that's one thing that we're really going to be working on for next year as well. So we'll show you the video. I'll just show you, I won't show you the whole 4 minutes, but you'll just kind of get the sense of the video. This will be posted. There'll be a new section. If you go to the web page, you'll see, you know, AMSA right beneath the banner. There's a section called Parents. You'll click on that section, Parents, and then you'll see the scroll down. So that just click it.
Fingers crossed, it's the last minute additions. At the bottom. Video and no sound.
Oh, video, no sound. I don't think the speakers are hooked up, Mr. Frick. Well, you at least, that's okay.
Look at the idea. You're not gonna have sound when you use it on your computer, so.
Yeah, you'll get an idea. So as you can see in the video, that's Christy Jagowski. She's our wonderful biology teacher. And she's sitting down in a very, actually it's even better without the video because then I can see without the sound. So what she's doing there, she's saying, hello, parents, everybody. If you have questions about how to access your kids' grades, let me show you how to do it. You're going to click on this, you're going to go to Plus Portals, you're going to type in your name, and then she's going to run through the screen that you'll see, what you clicked on, so forth and so on. So hopefully that question, your question about how do you access your kids' grades is answered through that video. And any questions that you have, we want to be really, really responsive to your questions. Any questions that you have, any ideas for videos, Mr. Finkel's going to be very busy. Just send it our way. We want to answer them. And we want you to see that we're really responding to your concerns and your questions. So I've talked for way too much. Miss Lindsay, did you have?
I've got a couple little things. This is super fun. I hope you all like this. We could have like a parent video contest and who could come up with the coolest idea for videos.
Yes.
Anyway, lots and lots of fun. I guess I just would like to start by, here we are at the end of the year, and just to let you all know how much we appreciate you and all the contributions that you make every day to the school and to make AMSA great. You know, having this opportunity for the last 4 months to be a part of the change of the school has been miraculous at best. Having an opportunity to work with the team that we do every day, including your students and including all of you, and being part of the AMSA community and rebuilding that and recreating that feeling of community has just been one of the greatest experiences of my life over the last few months. Other than being a mom, I wouldn't want to put anything above that. But this has really become quite a place to be and to be a part of and to work every day. To come to work and to work with Dr. Lewis every day has been an absolute joy. He is every bit as wonderful on a daily basis as he is each day. So I appreciate him every day. So just a few announcements. As far as Move Up Day, we're so excited about Move Up Day, but want to just to remind you that it's not a ad drop period, right? We will still have ad drop for the high school students in the first 3 weeks of, can you see me, Lauren? You're kind of behind the pole. The first 3 weeks in September will still be ad drop through guidance. So this is more of a day where we're making sure that all the kinks are worked out of the schedule, that the teachers and the students all know where they are. It's a wonderful opportunity for kids because they really do get to see who's in their classroom and kind of get a feel for where they're going, especially the younger ones who are moving up to the different buildings. So we're super excited about that. If you have any questions about the schedule, you can just email the guidance counselors. That may be something that they can help you with. If not, they're going to want to defer it into the first 3 weeks of school where they can do ad drop for your students. 8th grade families, those of you who have now, this is move up day, step up ceremony. We have that next Wednesday in the evening. If you can bring your students by 6 p.m., that would be really helpful. We're going to do a little bit of a rehearsal with them, out in the parking lot on Monday during DS, so that they kind of have a feel for where, how it's all going to work. But other than that, you can have them there at 6 o'clock. We're going to have them in the back room so that they can line up and get ready to march in. It's going to be a simple ceremony, but I think we've got a couple little surprises in place that I think we're going to make it very special. I do want to let you know that all of the types of things that we were scrambling to do in the fall are done already, getting ready for the fall. We have our homeroom teachers that have all been placed, so everyone knows it's going to be a homeroom teacher. I think that may be a first time too for certainly it's the first time in the last couple of years. The grade level coordinators are all hired in place for next year. I think it took us almost up until October and November to get all of that in place last year, so that's all done. And all the clubs have been fully staffed with their advisors too, so that all of these things can start the first day of school. There's going to be no skipping, and a particular club doesn't start until October this year. Everything is set up and put into place. It's an exciting thing. Let's see. Special education, we have a new director that's starting based on the feedback that we received from the Special Education Task Force. We reorganized the Special Education Department, and there will be a director this year, so one central person where things will all flow through, and that is Maureen Lavelle. So if you get a chance to stop in and see Maureen next year and say hi, please welcome her to AMSA. Let's see, the last piece is that, we've done some hiring this year, but it's mostly expansions, right? We've added teachers here and there. We've added a gym teacher, a history teacher, a couple others, but they've been additions. We've only had a couple teachers leave, and people do move on with things, but it's not 25 that we lost last year. So, at this point, it's minimal. We've been able to fill those positions already. We're keeping up with that so that this isn't something that we're doing in August or September. And so, surprises may happen at the end of the year, but I want you to rest assured that it's been minimal this year, and we've had an opportunity to hire early, so we're getting the best candidates. And because AMSA has the reputation that we do, I think we had 134 applicants for the history position this year. So yes, so it's we've got lots of wonderful choices, and we put a lot of time and effort into that this year. And also, we are still having the PTO field day for those parents who are new 6th grade parents. The PTO puts on a wonderful field day on the last day of school, the half day on the 22nd, and they have big blow up things for the kids and games and things going on for the whole day, and it happens out here in the back field. So the PTO is still doing that. They are looking for help, so if you're interested in helping the PTO, let them know. But it's a wonderful day for the kids, and they scoop ice cream all day long and things like that. So let them know if you can help. But we're excited about that coming up too. That's it. It's that camera over there.
All right. So questions, thoughts, comments.
With the new building, and I know you don't know anything, I assume you don't know anything yet. Are you looking to stay in Marlboro, or are you looking for?
Yes, we'll stay in Marlboro, and there's a couple buildings that are being considered. There's one up on Lock Drive, which I believe was Verizon.
Yep,
building.
Verizon.
It's a really nice, big, beautiful complex. AMSA was looking at it many years ago.
My old office
It's been
space.
empty for 3 years.
Yeah, I think it's 2 Lock Drive, I believe.
Yeah.
257 Lock Drive.
257.
Oh, sorry.
257 Lock Drive.
257 Lock Drive. So if you Google it,
That building is sitting empty right now?
It's been
it's been empty for a number of years.
Yeah, since Verizon vacated, I think
How
it's.
long will the deal?
I'm sorry?
How long is it going to take him to have all set?
It's all being determined. We don't know for sure right now.
But have it
Ideally,
Yeah.
well, I can tell you the ideal. The ideal would be that we would be within these facilities for another 2 years.
2 years.
And which, you know, if we buy a new building, so for example, if we bought that building, we'd have to fit it and, you know, get it school ready, which would probably take at least a year. I'm not an architect in any way, shape, or form, but what I've been told is that it would take a year.
So it's going to be like
more.
3 years.
Ideally, yes, 2 years, we'd stay here, and then we would move into that new building. Right.
What would you do about PE classes?
Well, we would, oh, here?
Yeah.
Well,
I
if we
mean,
stay
would
here,
you
we'll
still use
continue
this?
useful. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Then you would want charter
More
buses?
kitchens?
No.
When we move into the new.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, the good thing about if, these are all hypotheticals here, so.
It's on camera, careful.
Yeah, they're all hypotheticals. So it's right next to the, what's it called, the Chinese International School. They have athletic fields. They're very, very anxious, from what I hear, to have an American school close to them so that their kids can be a little bit more assimilated to the culture. So I know they've talked to us about that. We could build our own facilities, our own gym, our own athletic fields. There's lots of space.
There's
there.
enough space there?
Oh, yes. Yep. Lots of space there. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's right off of 20 and
I know
between
that it's
495.
at the end, right? It's right at the end.
Yeah, right at the end. And you can just go drive, and it's great. Lots of parking. It's kind of off the beaten path too, so we wouldn't get in trouble with the cops.
There's about 400 parking spaces, and I think there's 850 there. But there's also, just take a bird's eye view of it, you'll see the space there.
Yeah, it's got 100, I think it's got about 55,000 square feet. I believe we have about 100,000 square feet. So for the scheduling of vendors, having more classrooms makes scheduling so much easier. To really help solve that problem, which has been a continuing problem.
Yeah, but we're definitely just dreaming, right? We're in the dream stages.
I'm curious, would it allow for larger classes, like more students as well?
Well, we have a cap with the state for our charter of 966, so we
Okay.
can't bring in more than that. Unless we went for a whole, changed all that part of the charter, which we don't have any plan to do at this point, but we all just need more space.
Is the current student at that level right now? Is it topped out?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we're at 973, we're at, cap is 966.
Is the school looking at renting or buying a building?
Fine.
Buying. So the school has the funds? Okay, good.
You have
We
anything
have-
you want to lend us?
Yeah.
Not lend, give. No
Reach-
such thing as lend,
If
give.
anybody knows Bill Gates, reach out to Bill Gates or some big philanthropist. Write them and say, hey, we could use,
You said Boston School here,
we could use a couple
Massachusetts.
million.
So how does real estate work? So you're buying a property, you've been looking at it for several years, it's empty. So how do you can be eyeing it and other people can be eyeing it. So how do you step forward from the dream to actually putting money down on it? So while you're watching it, things can happen and then you'd be at square one looking for another property.
I think it's fair to say that, I think it's fair to say there's a lot of people that are working on this project. There's a lot of steps you have to go through for the state.
Okay.
You take a building and turn it into a school building. They jump in and they say, oh, there's all these things you have to make sure it's safe for students and things like that. So there is a whole process, and I would say it's fair to say that there's a committee of people that are working on options. This is very
The members of
Very
the
early.
Board of
Very
Trustees
early.
are very involved in the process, and they have a lot of expertise. We have an excellent lawyer on the Board of Trustees, and they've already done a tremendous amount of work on this. And frankly, they're much more involved in the process than Miss Lindsay and I.
Yeah, and there's other options, there's other
There are
options.
options.
I just want to correct something. You said that we have the funds. That's not correct. It's actually, there is availability to finance
Yeah.
through the school. It's not that the school has a whole bunch of $1 million that they have
Yes, right,
stored
yes.
away somewhere. It's that there is the ability to finance for the school to buy a building, not necessarily have to rent. Just want to make
Yes.
sure that's clear so people can think Someone's got a bunch of
Yes,
money in the
right.
basket.
Thank you.
Yeah, no. That is a plan.
Just along the same lines, so like, I know that we're a public school, but we're a charter school. Does the town of Marlborough and the state of Massachusetts help with that? Or will there be, I know we have our annual giving campaign, will there be a special capital campaign that will be out there to assist in making this an easier process?
We're a public school, but we're a charter school, so the state treats charter schools differently when it comes to buildings. They don't provide us any
Yeah.
assistance for our own buildings, which is terrible.
Yes.
They say they support charter schools and support choice in education, but they really handicap us by not helping us with the buildings, which is a significant part of our budget. So we're on our own with that.
Good to know.
So fundraising is always really, really important. We have the annual giving campaign.
What are the other choices? You mentioned you had,
I'm sorry?
you mentioned you had another choice of building. Is there another plan B?
Yeah, there's a few other buildings that we've looked at. I don't really want to say definitively what is the number one, but certainly the Lock Drive one is being thought of as a potential.
It's our favorite.
A number of us have toured it, and teachers, department chairs, board members, and people like it. So it kind of went through an early initial screening, and it was the thoughts were very positive. Yes.
Will you be implementing like science labs? And
Oh, absolutely.
Real
yes.
ones.
that's something, yeah,
Real
real
one.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, it's one of these that you walk in and it's just open space as far as you can see. So, you know, then you have to sit down with the architects and you have to say, okay, how do you design this? And just, you know, got the inside and just redesign it with classrooms and labs and all kinds of things that we don't have. And, you know, yeah, our minds are just really.
Already
the-
telecom capable.
The last day.
Everything ought to be in there.
Yeah, it's all
The
wired.
last day of
Take it all
school.
out.
You know, it's there.
The last day of school is next Friday. We plan to sit down with our teachers over coffee and donuts and just kind of have a discussion about, you know, what are your dreams for a new school? What would you envision? What do you want in that new school? And we can kind of come up with a list so that we're really well prepared so that when we do finance our new school, we will be able to tell the engineers and the designers, these are the things that our science teachers want, these are the things that our lit and history folks want, these are the things that our art teachers want, these are the things that our physical education teachers want, so that we can really have a school that meets our needs.
In that vein, can I just put a bug in your ear?
Music, yes, absolutely,
And not
positively.
just a performance space, we need an
Yes.
actual band room. A
We'll
room
not
where-
forget you, Gilly.
Thank you.
Theater would be
Yeah.
cafeteria?
A cafeteria, I think. Yeah.
I'll take a cafeteria too.
Yeah, it was a little combo there.
Yes.
Any help by the city? You know,
Auditoriums.
We're
I
meeting
know
with the mayor's
past-
office on Friday.
A Starbucks.
Yeah.
In the past, they have
That's very-
not been
Starbucks is
really
very
helpful.
expensive.
The city
The
was
mayor's office is always very helpful. So we-
always okay.
They've been very.
Yeah, so we want to build good relationships with the mayor's office and, you know, greasing the political wheels is always a good thing. So, yeah,
Relationship.
the mayor's office will be coming to AMSA on Friday, so we'll be sitting down and greasing the wheels on Friday.
With the whole litigation thing now behind us, like I know we were granted a certain amount of funds due to overcharging. Is there any potential more granting money coming back to the school that they've had to overpay due to the leasing situation now, or we've got
I'm
what
not the
we've
best
got?
one to answer that question. Our lawyers are,
Okay.
yeah, or the head of the board of trustees. Yeah. There's a board of trustees meeting on Thursday, and I believe the board, I'm sure, will be providing an update. Encourage you to come and you can ask. They're much more on top of that.
I mean, in the last meeting, they said there's a possibility landlord might appeal and it might.
Yes,
Possibility.
yes, that's a possibility, yes.
My understanding though is that even if he the appeals, we've been released, so we could still go and maybe have to make some restitutions somewhere down the line, but.
Gotcha.
And the fact that we won in front of a jury about gears, that holds a lot of weight when they appeal, they're going back to the judge. And I hope they don't overthrow a jury verdict.
So we're not bound by the rental agreement anymore? Is the landlord still bound to the rental agreement, or could they theoretically evict us from the buildings?
Well, we're sitting down with the landlord. The board is going to sit down with the landlord and discuss the future here for the next few years. So everything is being worked out right now.
About an extension for the next 2 years or something?
Exactly.
I don't think that they can be talking about it actually yet.
Yeah, I can't really give much more details about it because it's all part of negotiations that they're working out between the board and the landlord. Yes?
I don't want to change subject if this is exhaustive. I
Oh,
can.
that's okay.
Exhaustive. Okay.
Yeah.
Just for class sizes for next year, do you know what the max class size is going to be?
Yeah, so one of the concerns that the scheduling of measures addressed was class size. So that was particularly a problem in the middle school. We had, this past year, we had 6 sections in 6, 7, and 8, and class sizes in 6, 7, and 8 were often too large. Some classes got up to above 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Just not good, and too crowded. And when you have crowded class sizes, it's much harder to provide individual one-on-one attention. It's much harder to see what's happening in the classroom. The class becomes much more an exercise in classroom management than good instruction. So we really wanted to figure out ways that we could do that, and the scheduling Avengers said they suggest why don't we go to 7 sections in 6, 7, and 8 and see if we can make that work. They made it work. So we have moved to 7 sections in 6, 7, and 8. So it's not a revolutionary change. It's not like we're going to go to class sizes of 15 and 16, but there will be a drop of several students in each of the classes so that you'll see class sizes of 22, 23, 24, which is a big change. I can tell you as a teacher myself, having a class of 27 kids versus having a class of 22 kids is a huge difference. You can really focus much more on the kids. You can give much more one-on-one attention. You're not completely focused on discipline.
Let's see. Oh my gosh.
We do have volume.
I know. Actually, they come on. Is that Kelly? Really? She has a new morning show.
If you have suggestions,
Yeah, the other two left. Michael's training.
Oh, yeah, right. The football.
Gary,
Yeah.
would you consider taking that? Because our board.
Yeah, so that's how we're addressing class size. So it's not where we want it to be, but it's a big improvement.
So I don't know if this is something, this has been weighing on me a little bit over the course of the year, and I don't know if it's something to be concerned about, and maybe I'm just getting the wrong impression. I feel like every time I see pictures of groups of kids who are doing like math club and stuff, it's overwhelmingly boys, and I'm wondering if I'm getting the wrong impression, or if we need to work harder to get our girls more involved in some of these math things.
I say Padrinja is a master at working with our girls with science and computer science.
Mm-hmm.
She has so many clubs that she's running, some specifically for girls and some not. I have been approached though in the middle school to create a new girls math team, right? For next year. Anne's nodding. I knew I saw some paperwork for that. So yes, we're definitely encouraging them. It's interesting because some things that, they're open to everyone, and whether that's something they choose to do or not, right?
Right.
We had a number of girls join the, Jeremy Morris did racing cars this year. And so it was a big deal. I mean, in the past they've done like the 1080, which is the little cars, the remote control things. But this was the big race car that you sit in and you race it. And there was a lot of welding involved and a lot of real hands-on work. But we had a number of girls that were in that club. There must have been 4, 5, 6 of them out of out of 20 maybe. But still, it's growing. It's growing more. But I agree. We need to do. Like Pat Michelle does a fantastic job.
Hey, Pat Michelle.
Yes, it is a huge issue across the state, across the country, everywhere, especially at AMSA. There are certain clubs that the teachers are really, really working hard to get more girls involved. I've been successful in that because of Technovation, and that did not happen overnight too. It took time for us to get there. So even for math clubs and other clubs, the teachers are really, really focused on getting that. Chris Bowen, I know Ms. Bowen is working on that. Math team, Mr. Peters, he's working on that. They are trying to encourage more and more people. We will do our best to support that. And we are all for that.
And just, I mean, if us parents can do anything.
Sure.
I mean, I think, if nothing else, I know you've talked about the clubs being more well publicized. So I think that we as parents can push our girls into these things if we know about them, and that certainly helps.
One of the best places.
We can have a club night.
I was actually thinking at the beginning of the year, there's a few things we're going to do at the beginning of the year that we haven't done in maybe quite some time or maybe ever, but we were going to have like a club day where the kids can, go down during lunch period or whatever and have the clubs all set up, members there to encourage people to sign up. And part of having the girls who are involved in some of these clubs recruiting their friends, to encourage them, because that's always more fun. But I think that, and we're going to be having class meetings early in the year, which we haven't done the last couple of years, where the students all go down and we set expectations for the year. We can talk about those clubs and things like that. And we'll be working more in the community meetings to celebrate the students who are involved in clubs and the things that they're doing as part of that. So I think we've got some good opportunities coming up.
Thank you.
While we're talking about clubs, is there, and I love the idea of a club day or a club night, because I just think that would be fabulous. Is there a way that you can maybe list out, like some clubs are only fall, some clubs are only spring, some clubs are full year? So like when my kids are trying to pick clubs, they want to try to figure out what they can do without okay, one of my sons was doing, I can't remember, if it was robotics or something like that, and didn't think he could do this other club because they meet on the same day and they do this in the conflicts. And he tried to work through that and then realized, well, one's a full year, this one I can maybe skip one day, but it would help for them to try to figure out what I really want to do.
Some kind of sheet where everything's listed.
Where it's just, I feel like with my oldest, who's in 9th grade, I
We're on
feel
it.
like they're used to.
We're on it. She's already nodded her
Awesome.
head. Anne's right here. She's our club contact. She's the main person.
Is it too late for the kids to still submit if they can find a teacher to be a advisor for a club? Is it too late for them to do it for the fall?
No. Awesome. Never too late. Never too late. Even if it's October, November, and they come up with this great idea, just have them come to see one of the vice principals and Ann Richards.
Yeah, we really want to encourage clubs. We want, I know Miss Lindsay and I believe that clubs are an opportunity for kids to learn things that they haven't learned, but also an opportunity socially for kids to get together and to bond after school. They come to school, they go from class to class to class to class, and there's not a whole lot of time in the day. They have a 23-minute lunch and then they're off back again. And so clubs are a chance, and we have kids from all over the place, so clubs are a chance for kids to sit down together and to say, hey, how are you? Hello, and make friends. So and that's absolutely fundamental.
Slightly on that, a few years back, they used to do the activity period for the older kids. Are you guys thinking about bringing that back, or is that just?
There's a rumbling.
My kids always missed it. They kept moving it up a year and then it's gone. So.
We're floating some ideas about the senior project and how that's worked in the past and how we want to see that going forward. And so as the ideas for that are evolving, there's rumblings.
Yeah, lots of.
I just actually asked Lynn to create a survey monkey to test the rumbling. So it's rumbling.
I was going to say along the same lines too, maybe some clarification for students or early on about what the long-term commitment to some of the clubs is. I know my daughter Kate was a team leader on math team, but then she was doing indoor tracks and outdoor tracks. So having an understanding early on, can you do the math team for a few months and then do indoor track and then switch back, or is it you're committed for the full year, kind of getting an expectation from the club leaders on what's okay and what's not okay, so that they're not on their own trying to negotiate that with.
I think that's a really interesting thought, and I would suggest they talk to the club advisors, because when I'm thinking about something like math team and the commitment level they are being a captain, I'm thinking about competitions, and the team needs to depend on even those competitions, right? But then you also, Mr. Vital needs you too to run, and so, but then I'm wondering, okay, maybe you work with the math team and you're a mentor. And so maybe you're not actually on the team that's competing, but you're helping with the younger math team to mentor those younger students. So I think there's a lot of creative things that we can do that both places aren't competing for them for a commitment.
Right.
Yeah, I will not be captain, because captain you'll be responsible for the other members of the team. But you could compete, because what happened, in every competition they choose individual competitions, group. And I think first, because I chaperoned for a year or two on the math team, and there was a lot of girls back there. I remember driving a car load of them. I'm not sure what happened. But yeah, so sometimes they do the individual stuff, and then from the individual, they use the school to decide to submit a group, which group of kids are going to represent AMSA. And so, she could pull herself out. My daughter played soccer, so in the fall, she wasn't involved in the math team a lot. But after the summer was finished, she did the math team.
Yeah.
So
I'm just
yeah, but be the
wondering
captain, be the
in terms of
person.
even getting girls to join some of the things, just if they maybe knew whether there was or was not flexibility to do things for partial years, if they're involved in sports specifically, but even other, NHS is a big time commitment.
It is, it's true, but we can Anne's taking notes.
Yeah, she graduated, so I'm not worried about that.
I can speak about those kind of things, NHS and the running
track.
Yes, thank you. Because I have certain leaders in my team for Technovation, CS Gens and CS Gens, where the boys and girls mentor the younger kids. We do have an agreement, and we do talk to the coaches, and then we say out of the 14 weeks or 16 weeks, you can probably you don't have to come for 3 or 4 weeks. We do already make those arrangements. We do. If the kids come and approach us and ask us, we are definitely doing it and accommodating. But not everybody probably knows about it.
Right.
It's probably not public information, so that's a good idea to put it out there.
Yeah, or maybe even if you're thinking of joining a club, but you have a concern that it might be a conflict down the line, approach the advisor,
Yeah.
rather than them saying, oh, well, I can't sign up for this because I know I want to do track in the spring. or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, and just in talking with Mr. Vital, because my son did track, and he was on the jazz ensemble, and I'm like, when you're paying a lot of money to be in a club, he's going to go. But he said, well, for the middle school, which you didn't realize this in looking online, he might have a stringent thing for the high school, but for the middle school, when I inquired, he only required them to be 3 days a week, even though the kids were consistently having track 4 and sometimes on Tuesdays. The requirement for the middle school is he just wanted them to be there 3 days a week. So some of that, though, you don't get into until you start the dialogue with the teacher. It isn't necessarily in the summary of the club.
Yeah, that's probably the best place for it to happen, right? Yeah. I saw her hand up.
Yeah, so summer's about to start. We're all going to basically ignore school until September. We've got 40 people in here. What message would you like the 40 people to be thinking about or spreading to other parents and stuff that would help you out over the summer? Do you have any things in particular you would like us to communicate to other parents other than the couple of things you said up front?
I would say, two things. One is that you can use your help. Trying to help our school. Anything that come meet with us, come talk to us. There's always things to do, always things to plan. One of our big goals is to really make to listen and to make you feel empowered, make you feel that your voice really matters. So our door is always open. So if you come, sit down with us, talk with us, give us ideas, I'm sure we'll have lots of suggestions for things to do.
We've just started this process working with an outside consultant about what is AMSA, like what are our core values, what do we want to be going forward. And that's going to be a lot of our work in the fall, is defining that and working with the consultant to get community input. So there'll be meetings and things that will happen, evening events, surveys, the whole gamut. They're coming up with a plan for us. So participating in that actively would be really helpful. We want to have a clear vision of who we are as we guide the whole community together towards that vision, right? And towards those common goals and common values that we want. As we look ahead at each AMSA student who graduates, who becomes a productive citizen in our world, what values do we want that person to encompass, And so I think it's going to be important that we all work together as a community to create that vision together, And just to keep working with us, we've been in these positions now for 3 or 4 months, right? And we are committed to AMSA. We're committed to our students, to our families, and to our teachers and staff. And stick with us. We're gonna have bumps, right? We're gonna make mistakes. It's just life. We're humans. It's just what happens. But when little things pop up, just remember we're all pedaling that bike as fast as we can. We're all trying to do the right things, and just keep working with us as a community and supporting us and the kids, and ask the math questions over the summer.
Yeah, when I first took the position a couple months ago, one of our administrative staff gave me some pieces of the Berlin Wall, 2 pieces, and as a historian, I was like, oh, that's a fantastic piece of the Berlin Wall, and we have it on our desk in the what we call the Kryptonite room, which is my room, or the executive director's room. We have it right there on the table, and I kind of first thought of it as, it's a great piece of history, it's the Berlin Wall, and the more I think about it, the more I think it's kind of emblematic of what we're trying to do at AMSA, which is really trying to break down the walls that have divided our community for so long. We've had walls between teachers and administration, we've had walls between parents and administration. I think really the most important thing that we need to do as a school is to rebuild that spirit and morale, to break those walls down, to make you feel that this is your school, to make teachers feel that this is their school, this is our school together, collectively. And if we all work together and listen to each other and respect each other and share each other's ideas openly in a collegial atmosphere, we can really move this school to places it's never been before. So this summer, our doors are always open. We will be here throughout the summer with a little bit of vacation tucked in. I heartily encourage you, and I really mean it, just send me an email, come by. If you don't want to talk about school or your concerns, we could talk about summer vacation plans. Just getting to know you and getting to know your concerns and your thoughts and your ideas is really, really, really helpful. Because in addition to wanting to build spirit and morale, we really need to get that feedback. If we rest and if we think, oh, this is great, everything's going really, really well, we don't listen, that's when problems will crop up. So if you keep feeding us with ideas, thoughts, and concerns, we can solve those problems before they become big problems.
Can you switch to this transportation option? Anything new coming?
Transportation lady?
You're on.
What's that question?
I was just wondering, I know it's a suggestion, but perhaps would it be an option to have the bus go to designated park and go lots? I mean, at least to ease the congestion out here and also to help out of towners.
Are you talking about the regional bus that?
Yeah, I was like going on beyond Marlboro. And
Beyond Marlboro?
Yeah.
Those bus stops are not set by the school. They're set by the bus company based on their rules, regulations, and safety concerns when you're traveling distances like that. And they do look at that. but they have to put in so many stops per town based on our population who've registered for the bus. And then they take the best options that are available to them.
Yeah, I mean, my feedback was that rather than doing it on a stop-by-stop basis, if you use those designated parking lots all over the place, then at least the parents, bunch of parents could actually pull in there, and then of course it will reduce the congestion here even more, I presume.
Well, I'll certainly give them that suggestion,
Okay.
the park and go lots, and it's all dependent upon which parents register for that bus and they're willing to pay for that bus. And then that sort of dictates how the route flows, and then within that structure, they will assign safe stops for the buses. So I'll definitely give that to them.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Just one more thing about the bus, I'm sorry. I think it requires a commitment before we can determine the bus stops. I think that's what it says. My concern is there's an Ashland bus, but there is no Ashland stop listed whatsoever, or anything within a 5-mile radius of Ashland. There's no Southborough stop.
Hasn't been for a long time.
There's
They
no
used to be.
Ashland, there's no Holliston, Hopkinton. So how can I commit without knowing that there's a stop near my house? I think that's the concern.
But there used to be an east route that ran to Framingham, Ashland, and so forth in that area, and that ridership fell off completely, and the bus was discontinued.
You'll have to get in the, there is a big Ashland carpool.
Yeah, right. I was just hoping to do the bus route instead.
Oh, I did too, but it didn't work.
It didn't work?
No.
Yeah, there's no Ashland bus.
The problem is tapering off out of fewer students from Ashland. I am from Ashland too, and I agree with her. I mean,
There are a lot of
it's-
kids from Ashland, but they don't want to take the bus. That's the problem.
Okay. Well, I think just one way I'd like to take the bus in the morning, because the afternoon, she stays after school so much, it doesn't make sense, and I can't carpool in the afternoon, because the kids stay after school different times, so it doesn't make sense for me. It's just easier if...
It's unfortunate that our population is so spread out that we can't accommodate everybody with the bus.
Is there a way to, like, for them to, and I don't know, like, if there's confidentiality issues, but I'm guessing that could be an issue for some, that I know way back, like, I'm from Hudson, and way back in the fall, like, there were people looking for carpoolers, and there were some emails, to know who the other parents are in that area, that if you pulled together and you all talked, then maybe there would be. It's almost like now, like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, we can't do it, but we don't know the need. I don't know if they're trying to get them talking.
I'm sort of the contact for that. If you know of any parents that need to connect on a carpool issue, just know that the school doesn't set up carpools, but I can get a message out for any parent to the respective
Oh, no, I was
town.
even thinking for busing, like, if there's, like, say, 10 or 15 families in Ashland that are struggling
Got
right
it.
now, they might, if they knew of each other, they could then talk, and maybe that would get a route back there. But I don't know how many families you're talking.
We did it. Framingham did it. We got together and we have our own bus. So we've had it for several years now, ever since the bus was discontinued. So it definitely works.
How many people would you need to set up a bus out of a certain town? Like, how many, like, makes it cut the cost?
I'd have to add up the parents, who's on that bus.
It'd be interesting.
We
to find
hired
out what the tipping point is.
employment options, you pass them on. Yeah, because I think the van holds like 12 kids, so there's a maximum too.
I like that.
That van, I think, is probably a 12-passenger van. And it's been a godsend.
It's not an issue for me, but for the
Yeah.
Ashland or those outliers.
I will. I'm going to chat with her afterwards. Thank you.
Yes, you can.
We'll be picking your brains next.
But that's obviously important. We can look into ways to facilitate and help you with that.
Ashland's a lot of people, they'd be more than one.
Hi, sorry to switch the topic
Oh,
again,
sure.
but my son's in 6th grade, he started in December, and my question is, what are the plans for parent-teacher interactions? I've had a couple of emails from teachers when he was brand new, but nothing since, not a parent-teacher conference, no like, this is a day that this teacher's available, or none of that. So I'm just wondering, I haven't met a single teacher since he started in December, and I feel like AMS is here, and I'm over here, and if you're going for the plus portal, I would have no idea what's going on.
Well, we'll definitely be planning a parent-teacher conference in the early fall. Welcome back, teacher. Yeah. I would definitely encourage you to, have you emailed the teachers and requested a meeting.
No, I was waiting to see, because I'm used to having parent-teacher conferences in the fall
We will
and in the
def-
spring,
yep.
and I assume
We
there
will
is
have
fall.
one in the fall, and I definitely encourage you to email specific teachers and ask for a meeting. I'm sure they would be very happy to meet with you.
That's sort of like a
That's
welcome back
elementary
parent
school,
night, it's not
yeah.
just a conference.
Right,
Right, yeah.
We don't do that.
Excuse me. But I think she's sixth grade, so in elementary school, public school, you have a fall and a spring.
Right.
Parent-teacher conference.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not dated. But even in public school, middle school and high school, if you want something, you have to request it. It's not given.
Yeah.
But in elementary school, you have to schedule it.
Right.
So I think because she's coming from sixth grade, she's expecting to continue to have that sort of environment. But middle and high school is different.
Yeah.
The parents have to initiate it.
Right.
Right, so we've got like a welcome back parent night in the fall. Those are actually, getting them on the calendar now. So you'll have an opportunity to meet all the 7th grade teachers. We'll go class to class to meet everybody. And then after that, it's typically been more of, setting up an appointment, if you have questions, talking to the teachers on the phone, emailing, things like that. It's an interesting thought. It is something that happens regularly in elementary school.
And that's, I mean, we had the parent-teacher conference in the fall, and we're still in conference.
Yeah.
So then I figured there's going to be something here too, because he was in the same grade. I didn't realize that falls on
Middle and high school is
It
different.
feels to me as though that's something that, I know that my old high school where my kids grew up, they had an evening where parents could come, but you didn't have to if you felt like you knew the curriculum, you knew the high school well enough, you didn't have to come, but it was an option. So that might be something for us to talk about.
Yeah, again, I really encourage you to email the specific teachers too. I'm sure they'd be very happy to sit down and talk with you. As a teacher, I always love the opportunity to sit down with any parent anytime to talk about specific things of the school.
Yeah, and the guidance counselor is always a really good resource too. She could bring you in, take you for a little tour around and introduce you to some of the teachers.
So how do I know who his guidance counselor is?
That would be Allie Culligan. So if you go onto the website in the directory, you see her under the she's the school counselor for grade 6 and 7.
I was just going to say on that same note, I was just recently doing a PTO event where we were collecting the change, and I would run into some of my daughter's teachers, and they're like, they said to me, I wish we had more of a chance to meet them, because again, I hadn't seen them other than in the interactions a little bit here and there. But like I would not know them on the street, because some of them I didn't even meet on the parent. When you do the schedule in the year, you were only doing like an even or an odd day.
So we need
I was
to-
like, oh,
yeah.
now that's what you.
Yeah.
The first time I've ever seen them in person, even though we had email. So
So we
I
need
know
to-
the teachers, at least that I ran into, a couple of them had said it would be nice to, at least sometime in the middle of the year to be able to meet.
Okay.
We want you to know our
Well,
teachers. They're wonderful people. And another thought, we have hired a new school counselor at the middle school. So for the last 4 years, Allie Culligan has been rotating with, she's had 6th and 7th grade all the way through. It's a big caseload, 315, very big caseload for one person. So we have hired a new school counselor. And she's going to rotate with Allie. So this year, starting the new 6th graders, Allie will have those 6th graders, and she'll rotate up with 7. And the new guidance counselor's name, I don't have her last name, it's not in my head yet, but her name is Joanna. And she will start with 7th grade, and then she will go down to 6th, and then they're going to rotate those 2 grades so that the students who left the continuity of the 2. But that's going to reduce their caseload in half, so provide a lot more supports for our new students who are arriving at school, who may find Amsterdam to be kind of an anxious, stressful place. So they need to have more supports and access, more ready access to someone who can talk to them and help them to learn the skills to deal with the caseload, the organization, and just the stress that all the extra classes in science and math can have for some kids.
And we'll put our heads together, try to figure out some
Yeah.
alternate ways to help meet the teachers.
Even a fun event where the teachers
Oh,
are there.
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
2 quick comments related to morale and school spirit. The first one is I drive 4 kids to school in the morning, and I've definitely noticed over the past few months they've transitioned from this sense of I'm upset about something, it's me against the school, to I'm upset about something, but we're all in this together. Like the vibe in their complaints has changed noticeably, so thank you for that. The second thing is, I think at the last coffee that I attended, I expressed concern about the incoming sixth graders and their first impressions of the school and the parents' first impressions of the school and how my daughter had a miserable time at that pizza night. Happy to report that they just had the pizza night and my son had a fabulous time. So thank you for that. It was a much better experience. His friends had a much better experience. They weren't grumpy afterwards. They knew people's names, which was incredible. And I also really liked the parenting program that you had for the parents at the same time. I thought it was really excellent, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. Really, that's meaningful.
Thank you.
Just one, and probably not a major question, but are there any changes at all in the food program for next year? The thing is, it's 1 month in advance, which is not too bad. We had reversed other schools, but in case we need an extra day, my son tells me that the only option is like the vending machine, which, I think this came up before, if there is like a default option that some days they can just check.
Yeah, I don't know that much about the food program, except that we bring it in every day.
Yeah, that's,
It's not very good.
I bring leftovers, I'm not sure.
Is there any
should
chance
be
of
Eileen is our girl, yeah.
Eileen Hebert is the key point person. I know she can help answer that question much better than.
Having been here for a while, I think this is the third outfit that we've tried over the last few years, and none of them have been terrific. And every time, I think, at least from my experience with my kids, was the first year was pretty good, the second year was okay, and by the third year with a vendor, it's just, the kids are tired of the same type of meals they get, and it just gets worse and worse each time. So I think it's great
maybe
if
in the
we
new
can fix it
building we'll
again,
have
but I also am realistic, and I don't think that there are a lot of great choices for bringing in.
Our children say food is good. Don't get me wrong on that, but I think a little flexibility on like a day when they really want to just eat at school, even though they haven't signed up in advance, there is an option.
Yeah, we can check into that to see if there's any flexibility with the money. But I agree. I came from a different charter school. Oh, there was like 1 year we had like these astronaut things that they all we had were these big heating units, and they just would put them in, and it was just the worst looking fast food we've ever seen. And we had we ended up pairing up with the city school, and they would send somebody over with hot lunch, so we got the same lunch that the regular school got. That seemed to be the best option.
I was just thinking, sometimes you can find vending machines that have cold sandwiches and something like that. Kids could just buy out of a vending machine if they forget their lunch or.
Who handles the vending machines?
Yeah, that might be a good option.
Kathy, Eileen does that too. Okay, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah,
So-
they have vending machines that you could get even like those quick little, like
Or even like
if we get it,
like little mac and cheeses and little.
If we get it in school, hopefully we can have something like Starbucks and Five Guys.
So who handles the, like my brother has a vending machine business and he does several schools. And so if that's something that you want to look, I'm sure he'd be happy to share information. And because he's under the guidelines, like as soon as you're doing a school, you have to be careful of the amount of, it's got to be healthier options in there. So if anybody's looking for information, I could hook them up. I'm sure he'd share what he's got available.
We do have very strict guidelines of what can go in those machines and what can't.
I also had another thought. A microwave would be fantastic, and they could bring their own.
And we talked about that quite a bit with the seniors. And there's pros and cons to that, and part of it is well, but part of it is you can't have 50 students standing there waiting.
20 minutes.
That's right, they never, no one ever gets their
It's not permitted?
I think there's regs against it. But the seniors every year in the senior privileges, they seem to apply for our own senior microwave. And it's like, well, yeah, there's 181 of you. Right. Well, how do you do that? So
20 minutes for lunch.
The devil's in the details.
Yeah, devil's in the details. So. On your, speaking of spirit and the energy of that, I'm finishing my first year here, so I still feel very new. I've got a 6th grader and my 8th grader this year. And I think that that is very important. You said you wanted feedback to know if you're doing well, because I think that the energy, we're expecting these kids to do academic excellence. We're asking them to be in an advanced academy. And I think that, I believe it was you who was out with the seniors cheering on, and at the beginning of the year they've done that. I think maybe the buses didn't say that, but drop-off parents saw that. And the announcements in the morning about the school teams, the fun of the music chosen every day, the little Halloween, Valentine neon dance, even if kids don't go, to know that all of that, I think that really energizes, because we're expecting a lot out of them and demanding a lot out of them, and I think that's really inspired my kids. And so I want to say that's been good.
Yeah, I was a little scared. I actually hopped into one of the cars as the seniors were driving around.
Well, I think you might be talking about, during the school day, didn't the teachers didn't like during the loudness?
School day,
Okay.
the seniors on the last day, they're allowed to make circles around the school.
Okay,
and they
I was
pass.
talking about the thing in the morning, but I guess maybe this is just me being, I don't know, naive. My daughter told me that one of the teachers was upset about the noise, and I was like, I think we need to lighten up. That's exciting. Like, for example, and I know we have to teach, but for example, the last thing I was going to say was, I believe you had an assembly where you told them where everyone was going to college. All of these kids are going to this school because they want to go to college. To show them the end game, and I missed the thing where you had the parents could come back and hear the alumni, all of that telling them where they're going and what they can aspire to in real life, examples of who've been there, that energy and spirit is very valuable, I think, to our students.
Thank you. That was our community meeting in May, and that was great fun, and that was the whole point of that, really.
Yes.
It was to celebrate our seniors and all of that, but it was really to give the younger kids an opportunity to look what you can do. You can go to Cornell, you can go to
college sweatshirts or whatever during that day?
We've done all kinds of things with the seniors to help them to have class spirit and things like that.
I think
it adds a lot of energy to every day, because
I
my
think-
son jumped into 8th, which is, I've been told, is the hardest year. Wow.
Yes,
And even starting in 6th, and like you said, some kids find it very challenging. Fortunately, my kids did fine, but I think every day those things, they're still kids. They need that
That's
boost,
what it's
that
about.
energy. Yeah.
Joy.
Find joy.
Yeah, if we, like I said, I think spirit and morale is the fundamental. It's the bedrock of a school, and having joy in a school and having smiles in a school and high fives and laughter is fundamental before anything else. Because if you can create that spirit and that joy and a sense of wonder, kids will do things.
And if you don't know this, I don't know other families, the middle school my son came from, now that I've had a full year, the kindness and the behavior of our student body is staggering compared to where my son came from. And so that's also, we should be very grateful.
Absolutely.
Just had a quick comment. Just talking about seniors, it reminded me. I heard about a senior prank with a petting zoo that happened.
Was that not awesome?
Yeah, except for my son was a little disappointed because he wasn't allowed to go out. So I don't know what happened. He's 6th grade. I don't know when it occurred, what class he was in, but he was a little bummed.
So the senior prank was the seniors. They all paid for that. And so they all pitched in, so they were the ones who actually got to go into so it really was about them. They organized that all on their own, and it was great fun. The kids, it was out there for 2 hours, so the idea was that if teachers wanted to bring them out, they could. But it was supposed to be a surprise. I mean, I knew about it because I had approved it. Did I tell you? I think I wanted it to be a surprise to him. Maybe just up until the day before, maybe I said something. But it was just, to me, it was just the funnest thing. I mean, it was like, you're talking to me, and like I have 2 big dogs at home. I mean, just let me carry them around all day. I was all for it. I thought it was great. But that they did it was for the seniors. It was a surprise. They paid for it themselves. And so therefore they paid for their time to go in. And they had a little line. They let like 20 or so in at a time. So that's what that was all about. But so some teachers were aware and some weren't. So that's just kind of how that kind of went
Or maybe we
Was
can
it for everybody else?
institutionalize the petting zoo and then we can have.
Well, it's been just, right, like they asked me about bringing puppies in for for finals.
Oh.
You know, have you ever heard they do that on college
Spending it,
campuses
yeah.
and they bring the puppies
Stress,
in, just to reduce stress, you know? So we kind of joked about that a little bit, but.
Maybe next time if they do something like that, make it more clear that that's
Yeah.
seniors only kind of a thing, because.
Well, it'd be great to have the whole school share in that.
Or that.
Yeah, well, what we realized was that the kids who did go out there, the kids who were in there, they were just in awe of these animals. They just loved it, the smiles, everybody was so happy. And it was like, oh my goodness, these guys need to get out on a farm more. And, but that idea of, you know, the puppies and that, you know, I think we should have like, bring your pet to school.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. You know, like I know there's allergies and all those things to consider, but
That was So the new building's gonna have a petting zoo part? Have a little veterinarian.
The extra 1,000 square feet that you're gonna use for the Jersey Mike.
Yes, right.
Word that already.
That would be great. Well, it's 9:45. I just want to thank you all for coming today and for your time, for continuing to come, continuing to support us. Please reach out anytime. Our doors are always open. We really want to hear from you and sit down and talk with you. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for your support. And we're really optimistic that next year is going to be even better than this year. So thank you all.
Yeah.